So, welcome in, everyone. Tonight we are going to be talking about the non domicile and the English proficiency issues that are getting addressed to a point. Ignacio, you want to take over and start off?
Well, I know we're still in the process of some non-domiciles still going through the process of getting their licenses revoked or canceled or not renewed. Um, I know a lot of a lot of people on the industry were hoping that there was going to be less capacity as we would witness them exit the industry and therefore uh, having better rates. Uh, Also, there was speculation or the idea that the roads would be safer without them on the road. I believe that was the initial uh, statements, right? This is why
Right.
we concluded that okay, government is getting rid of them because they believe that they were a hazard to the industry regarding safety. Uh, uh, I believe, like in the spot market, just following the spot market, especially in two lanes that I've been following for the past 24 years. There has not been major changes as far as the spot market. I think we can't really see the effect of the spot market due to non-domicile capacity is because of the new challenge we have on how to manage the diesel spike. I know myself this two lanes going like into Colorado or Arizona uh in dry van, flatbed, a reefer. I know it doesn't really compensate. So in fact, I was going through the numbers right now. Before the non-domicile exiting and before the fuel spike, are going through the numbers, and man, we it actually comes down to less per mile, considering uh, the two differences in the industry, right? The non-domicile exiting and the higher fuel prices. So to me, this market right now is even worse because I know we're in the process where brokers are still trying to relay the message to their customers that hey, listen, the carriers need more money. I myself had to talk to my direct account, and I asked them, "Wait, listen, how we gonna manage this this fuel cost thing because it's almost doubling up compared to where it was before to where now we have this war thing going, and the prices are almost double as far as the carrier goes. So the profit has decreased, and I'm just trying to manage the relationship. I'm thinking brokers are going through the same struggles, right? How do you present this 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 charge, this surcharge, even, right? Like some managed surcharge. It's not very common anymore, but it used to be a good thing because that would solve the difference on the fuel difference, right? The difference where you have this contract versus this unforeseen event where all of a sudden will move the margins. So they basically what he told me, hey, listen, give us a little time. We're trying to see how long this fuel prices are gonna stay up there, and we are taking notes. They have trucks on their own, so they know the difference on expenses per gallon. So they know how to compare. They know that this is not a tactic that we use to take advantage. But I believe brokers have the same challenge as I do with a direct account, right? They're gonna have to go to the customers and they have to renegotiate because these rates that I see in the spot market, yeah, they have increased maybe $200-300, but overall they do not compensate for the loss of fuel increase on the price. So again, when we try to see, okay, what are the effects of the non-domicile exiting the industry versus the higher prices for fuel, you can't really see the difference. As far as safety, uh, I don't believe they even had enough data to actually prove that non-domiciles were a major difference as far as safety. They concluded there was not enough evidence to support it. I do believe that there was a lot of high-profile cases um, for the non-domicile. Uh, so I believe something had to be done, but I don't really blame the drivers themselves or the carriers. I believe the whole system was rigged or kind of compromised to have these results. I think
It actually
advocates,
was.
yeah, I believe advocates or people that been in the industry for decades, we seen this coming, and we try to raise awareness, but yet they kept on pushing driver shortage. I believe in this case, um, corporate America won, and I believe government believed the corporate America movement and participated with them, and they created this chaos. I believe now that Sean Duffy of FMCSA is reviewing uh, these tragic events. I think they're revisiting the whole trucking industry and the system and the way things are working, and they're finding out, man, we're really backed up on reforming the way we do things. What do you think of it?
So, from the research that I could find, through the research that I could find, is for around 30 years, they have been developing this system, and they've they made it easy on the CDL issuing over the years, especially with non-domicile. And the states were there wasn't really any real process for the non-domicile CDL, and I think they exploited it. And that's what the research shows, anyways. And I
Is
did a
that
video
in
on
the
it.
states?
Yeah, it got out of hand by the states, and that's exactly what Duffy has been saying. Is they started looking into it, doing the research, and a lot of the states weren't verifying, uh, going by the federal guidelines, the federal laws for issuing non-domicile or CDLs.
I I truly feel like the DACA recipients got the bad end of the stick with this. I don't believe that they should have been with the non-domicile category. I believe, just reading through the legal process, I believe the DACA recipients were qualified and they were properly vetted, or they can still be properly vetted. The reason being is I believe that if in order for you to qualify under the DACA program, you had to been here uh, at the younger age of 16 years and under, which many have been. And I believe that when you're been here since 16 years and under, you had to go to school. You had to go maybe to elementary, junior high, or high school, and therefore you're able to learn English and able to get maybe your first job, second job, and it, for like being a young individual, you had to have an address. So you had a permanent address. You had information or history since you were a kid, and that's what they were claiming, that non-domiciles could not be vetted properly. Well, I believe DACA recipients, they had all that. They had all the requirements. The only thing that they didn't have is their permanent uh, status here in the United States, but they were in the programs, or in the process of becoming maybe legal or obtaining temporary permanent residency. Uh, but again, I don't blame individuals. I blame the system, because the government has to supervise and manage and reform things that are not
Eh,
working. Somebody has to enforce it, right? And nobody was.
yep. And that's what the research pulled up, is that they weren't verifying whenever a H-1B visa or a HP-2 visa or even a DACA recipient, anyone that applied for a non-domicile, the states weren't verifying their classification. They weren't verifying if they were legal or illegal.
I mean,
They weren't going through the process.
I mean,
The
what is
states
illegal
weren't.
to you? What is illegal to you? I mean, I believe, like, it bothers me to hear so many people use the word illegal, because I know a lot of this resources like freight waves and overdrive and the news, they
Right.
use the word illegal loosely. I
Yeah,
cannot
they do.
I cannot believe that there's a truck driver on the road that's illegal and able to get a license, a medical card, go to school, and then be out on the road. I It's very hard for me. I actually witnessed citizens here, born here. For example, I know a man. He was
Hmm.
65. He was at the DMV when I was renewing my license, and he was trying to renew his license coming out of like Tennessee. And you know what? He wasn't able to renew his license because he didn't have his birth certificate with him. So that was, to me, a wake up call. When I had to do my real ID, uh, I had to bring my citizenship. I had to bring receipts. I had to bring my marriage certificate. There's a lot of paperwork to be done. There's a lot of proving. Is there corruption?
Uh huh.
Sure. I know no corruption. I know DMVs have sold licenses for $3,000, 5,000. Have I run into drivers that bought the license? Sure. We know this corruption exists, but it is, again, the same government. Why are DMV
Yep.
selling licenses under the table? There's a few of them that got caught already, so there's no secret about it. Now, what about schools, right? I forgot how many schools have been shut down, but I know it was the hundreds. So schools too, they had like a mill, right? A mill of just giving out licenses. Again, corrupted, maybe with companies that were just trying to get drivers into a truck. So there's just a lot of holes, and I think, instead of me personally, instead of blaming drivers and carriers, again, I look at into the government saying, why have you allowed it to get out of hand this bad for so long? When we all been saying something's
But
wrong, take a look at it.
yeah,
That's what I think.
no, I agree with you. I totally agree with you on that. But to answer your question, and illegal to me is, someone that comes over here without going through the process, not getting their visa, not getting their, green card, anything like that.
And you think an illegal can get a license? can get a medical card and get a truck and apply it to a company or open their own uh,
They shouldn't
authority.
be able to, but it actually gets slid under the rug because of the corruption in government and well the government employees, the ones working in DMV, right? And I mean, how do I say this? So really, I think government and the state agencies, you know, have just turned a blind eye to it. That's what I think.
Right. You believe that it's through the lobbying, right? They know,
Yeah,
they have admitted these things to be happening through lobbying. Do you agree?
yeah, through lobbying with ATA and other big associations across the different industries, the insurance side, the uh, construction side, all of it, the farming, all of it.
Do you believe we're in a monopoly in this industry?
Yes, and I'm actually building the evidence for that, but yeah, besides the point.
Yeah, I think this industry has been manipulated to the point where uh, it's getting really out of hand. Not only in safety, but in wages, in rates, in downtime, and then in so many people have come into the industry just to put their hands in our pockets. I think, like for
Yeah,
example, those lumper fees. What madness! Uh, I believe if we research lumper fees, uh, I believe that they're tied to a corporation that's probably run or protected by the government, where they have no restrictions, no control. Don't you think that, for example, has gotten out of hand?
good possibility. I do know what the lumper service is. It's a big circle jerk. It just goes in. It gets charged from. So let's take Capstone for instance, because everybody knows who Capstone is. So Capstone charges the carrier for the lumper for unloading or loading the truck, whatever they're doing, and then that broker or their customer, if it's one of their direct contracts, and usually in a direct contract, there's usually not a lumper fee, from what I've seen. Now, from there, that customer charges it back to the original charger or the original facility where that lumper was. So it's one big circle jerk.
And where's the rate standards at? Who's regulating the rates?
The lumper service. The
Okay,
lumper
but
service and who hires them.
that to
They have a
me is
contract between the two.
that to me is ridiculous. I haven't paid. I never paid out of pocket for a lumper service, but I don't like what's happening.
I have
That's
a
just
few times and then I stop. Make the
that's just
brokers pay it.
another area where I believe it's been manipulated, not being supervised, and really out of hand.
Hmm.
Not only did they rob you, but they keep you hostage on the docks. Not only they
Yep.
provide poor service, but expensive service, but they're very irresponsible on being considerate for your downtime. So to me, that should be regulated. That should be reformed. And I believe there's a monopoly in it because not many have the option to go into a company and load your truck. So where's the competition in that? So if they have massive competition for us carriers, why lumpers don't have competition? So to me, it is a monopoly, and we gotta investigate. We gotta come down to the bottom of this and see why has it really gone out of hand. Who's got their hands on it? So that's just another area. The other area is like, man, why are we sitting on docks forever when they're restricting our hours of operation? 14 hours, but if you spend 6 times on the dock, I mean, that's half your day. Yeah, uh you can do the use your clock with the 7-3 split. Like you can use a split in case like this, but still your clock is running out. And to me, when you start your clock, your work day is already in motion, but then they keep you in a dock for 6-8 hours. Man, that is ridiculous. If the the old saying, if the truck's not moving, you're not making any money. So your clock is moving. So to me,
Yep.
that's why these things matter to me, because every little thing is affecting the carrier. I believe after the regulation that says, yeah, we want the consumer to benefit. And I agree. Yeah, let's give them, fair competition, a fair price. But what about us? Who's gonna think of us? Who's gonna take care of us? Who's protecting us? Who's speaking for us? Who's representing us? I think this is the time where I've seen a lot of groups, a lot of advocates come into the scene and try to get together and make a change. I think we're still playing around where we can actually have one voice for all the carriers, um, and I believe that a lot of us want to work.
Well, not just for the carriers, but for the drivers. Period.
Yeah, yeah, from the trucking side, but I believe that we have tried so hard to have relationships with brokers, with shippers, with
Mhm.
receivers, with law enforcement, first responders. I mean, we've been trying to be safe for decades, but it seems like as we try to keep everybody in the circle, respect them, work along with them, and try to be conscious and do our best with safety, it seems like nobody cares about us. Nobody's speaking for us. Nobody's considering us. So I think this is the time where we must speak out and speak up, because man, it's hurting. It's hurting because every time it seems like every time something happens, the carrier, the driver takes the losing end of it. So a lot of individuals might say, well, hey, why don't you just get out of it? It's your choice. You made this choice. You can easily get out. Well, hey, a lot of people forget that sometimes, we come from generations. This is something that we love to do. This is something some people, this is the only thing they know what to do. So just because you love a
Right.
trade or you love a skill or profession does not mean that you need to be punished for it. So that's what we have laws and regulations, and we have rights as workers, right? Just because you're doing something does not mean that they need to treat you unjust. That's not mean that they need to take advantage of you. That's an error in
Right.
any industry, in anything that you do, right? So we're not speaking just for drivers and carriers. That just goes across the board for every single one that is doing the right thing, trying to work, trying to pay your taxes, and trying to do it legally.
Right. And so I want to elaborate on that. So the whole statement about, well, if you don't agree with it, get out of the industry. Here's the problem: the exploitation, the corruption. It's all across the. It's all across the board. It doesn't matter what industry you go into. It doesn't matter what job. That's the problem.
Yeah. So
And
so
not,
to me, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
and then also, so since you brought up the whole split deal, So even if you do your split, let's say you sit in the dock for 6 hours. So even doing that split, you have to do the other break within a 17-hour window of a 24-hour period. So meaning once you started your clock for the day, that's your 24-hour period. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's what I was saying. That you once you start your clock, you can't ever recover the time back. Now you're forced to do something with it, and you're trying to do it legally, but it's more challenging.
Yeah, it
Any
is.
way we see it, it's still a loss, and we're running under pressure just by the simple fact that we're starting our clock.
Nope.
But I believe that the whole non-domicile overall, I believe that something did have to happen. I believe in safety. I believe in trying to look out for a fellow driver. I believe in that. I believe something needed to be done. So I do agree that FMCSA is taking matters into their hands, and I believe that something needed to change, and that's promising to all of us. That should give us hope that finally something's happening after like 4 decades, maybe, that nothing has been done and it's nothing but getting worse. I think that now finally we get to see that okay, government stepping in. To my opinion, I think it's good. I think Sean Duffy and the whole FMCSA is proactive. They're making changes. I think it's a good thing. The only thing that I believe is that they should not do it too fast. I believe that they should control one aspect of the industry and then go to the next. A good
Right.
example is the DACA. I think like because they got rid of so many individuals and they felt the pressure to do it because of uh, the national concern. I believe citizens were highly concerned of what was going on the roads. They felt under pressure to just to proact, to do something right away. But I think they did it so fast that they took DACA with them in the process, and that's where I feel like they need to do things. Yes, some things require more, I guess, emergency kind of action, but other things don't. But there's hope because finally there's things moving. I agree that we all need to kind of make the road safer. I like that they're reforming the school system. I agree that they're focusing on who's legal, who's not. I agree in the English proficiency. It's just simply enforcing a law that was written, what, 1936, 37. So that's
37.
actually, so they're actually enforcing a law that was already written decades ago. I agree with all that. I just believe that it has to be done in writing.
Uh,
Huh?
It's on the floor right now to get passed for law. The
Yeah,
English
yeah,
proficiency.
yeah. Is it with coming with the Delilah, is that what
Delilah
is
law
coming with?
and
Is coming with
yeah,
that law,
Delilah
right?
law and Connors law. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they inter uh eh, they combined it Connors law with Delilah's law as well.
and that's another example what I'm talking about. That Connors law. What year did it happen? 2017. Like what
The
year did
accident
that incident?
happened. The incident happened in uh it was either August or September of 2017.
Okay, look how long has that been? It was promoting and it was suggesting the same thing as the Lila law is, right? But it was
Yep.
ignored. it was placed under the shelf. And it's only until this new event with Delilah and just the extreme incidents that happen on the road that they're able to revisit and kind of listen to that Connors law that was proposed years ago, right? So finally, the Connors family, the Connors event, might finally maybe see the fruits of their activity, of their participating and creating awareness on the roads. Uh, I believe the Lila law is a little different. I think the Lila, for what I heard from the parents, if you heard the father, he's not stopping there. I think he's trying to bring safety into the roads, but not limited to drivers and carriers. He's going after the brokers as well. What do you
Yeah.
think of that? He's trying to have brokers accountable for whoever they vet or whoever they hire. What do you think of that?
It needs to happen. Brokers do need to take more responsibility and liability, along with the shippers, receivers. Everybody in the industry needs to be taking a little bit of liability for all of this. Everybody needs to be vetting each other
Do
a
you
lot
think
more efficient.
brokers? Do you think brokers? Let's focus on the spot market. Do you think brokers they don't really care who they hire as long as they hire the cheapest ones?
I think majority of them do. They just
I
go for
think
the
so
cheapest
too.
rate.
I think so too because I've seen some brokers. They've had good quality carriers pulling their freight supposedly for the customers they care so much about. But then later on, they'll compromise the good service provider and because of $100 or $200, and they hire a non-known reputable carrier, and then later on they understand that they didn't make it to the pickup or delivery. So it's like we said, right? They get what they paid for, but the hypocrisy in that, right? Like I care for my customer, I want my load to get there safely. No, you don't. If you really did, you will pay for prime service. The truth is that
Right.
you'll give somebody else a truck not being used because you're saving $200, $300 with somebody else. So you don't really care for your customer if you're not really paying for prime service for your customer. That's just my opinion as far as what I've seen in the
Yeah,
spot
there has
market in
been a
some
lot of
industries.
drivers. There's been a lot of drivers that have reported or talked about um, where they booked the load and everything, and some of them even got to the shipper and then they were dropped off the load.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we have so many issues on hand. And another issue that we have and that try to continue raising rates is the insurance side, right? So many second, third brokers, their hands on the load. It is so uh it's so dangerous nowadays because man, you don't even know like who you're dealing with nowadays, and the government should be able to supervise the process, the systems, the companies, uh, and it seems like crooks or the bad actors, man, they're like a foot ahead of us because man, when is this
Yeah,
gonna stop? The theft, the the fake brokers, the stolen loads. Me myself, I ended up with a stolen load, and thank God I had enough experience and I seen the red flags, and I was able to contact the right broker and the right owner of this load that I had. Ended up getting reimbursed for my work, but still, I could have easily given away a stolen load. So I was being used as part of this ring without even realizing it. So we gotta be careful out there. There's a lot of like brokers that they don't care like what you go through or how you're being used. In fact, they will try to use you to participate in these crime rings if you're not aware of what you're doing. So you gotta be
Right.
careful out there. My question is like, how in the world are they even letting them into like the dad boards, truck stop load boards? Like who's vetting these guys? Why are they allowing them to come out here and sell us loads? That to me is very concerning. And the government knowing about this because you have millions and millions of dollars every year. And why should matter to all of us? Why? Because we take a hit every time we renew insurance.
Yep.
We're being punished for the lack of action from government officials, I believe, because we shouldn't have
Yeah.
to be dealing with stolen loads, with second, third brokers' hands on these loads. But yeah, we all know that it's happening, but nobody's doing anything about it.
Yeah. And it even so, even with the the fraud, the identity theft, all of that cost that comes from that, the stolen loads, all of that cost actually gets spread throughout the whole U.S. So everybody's paying for it. It's not just trucking.
Yeah, but it hits us like really bad because if we're like one,
It
two, three
does.
trucks, it
Hmm.
makes a major difference where you have to pay $500 more, $1,000 more. It does hit home
Yeah.
because we're not a big company. Uh, so to me, why are we even dealing with this? You know, where's the government? Where's the enforcement? Where's the supervision? To me, this is what I don't like. We're being over supervised. We're being over regulated because man, listen to where we at now. We're come to a point where they have cameras inside the truck.
Yep.
That's for the drivers. That's for the carriers. They want us to put cameras in the truck, inside the trucks, outside the trucks. They want us to log every single hour that we're on the clock. They want to make sure the equipment we're touching, everything is safe and proper. We're over regulated, but a lot of there's partners in the industry. They're very loosely working without being supervised, without being held accountable. In fact, like I said, like this lumper thing, like man, it got out of hand. This insurance thing, it really has gotten out of hand. Not that we're complaining or crying about it. We're all grown up and we know what we're trying to do. But what we're trying to say is like, is this really how it's supposed to be done, or is there a better way of doing things? To me, if they're
Yep.
holding us accountable, I think it's only fair that they should hold everybody else accountable, or even be accountable yourself. Lead by example. That's what I would say. You know, to government officials, to the ATA, to OIDA. Lead by example. Show us how it's done, but don't hold us accountable as drivers and carriers, and you guys are not uh, uh, holding yourself accountable. I think at the end of the day, just like I said earlier in some of the comments that you read, every time something goes wrong with the industry, they sacrifice one of the carriers, one of the drivers. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think we're the ones that need to be punished every single time something goes wrong. And you kind of get tired of it. When is this gonna end? I didn't create the laws
Yeah.
and the regulations. I'm not supervising everybody. I'm not the one that is supposed to be making sure everything's running smooth. Why, at the end of the day, we're the ones that get punished? That's not that's not okay. And then we don't even have a voice. What is it? I think we're like 90% of the industry as small carriers, as drivers. We're the majority, but we don't have a voice. We don't have nobody sticking up for us. Nobody's defending what's right for us. So I think this is a great time for us uh, throughout. advocates or small little groups, at least if not complain, just trying to help the industry make changes for common good.
Yes. And independents actually hold 86% of the authorities, the
Look at
carrier
that,
authority.
86. 86 is a big number, but there's no voice, there's no weight. I don't think money should be the key ingredient. I don't think justice can be bought. It shouldn't be bought. I think right is right and wrong is wrong. And when you have
Yep.
86% of the industry not having representation, something's terribly wrong.
Yes. I totally agree. We need to start coming together and, supporting one another to actually get change. We all have to
Right.
work together, agree to disagree, and hit this from all sides.
Yeah, I think it's not for like drivers or carriers. I don't think we're asking for much. I mean, just sometimes it's just basic things, common decency, some honor, some respect, some integrity. I mean, we have
Yep.
come down to a place where they want to put cameras in the truck. I mean, do we really need to be babysat? We're come to a place where in the 1970s they were fighting for bathrooms for people working in the fields. We are looking for public bathrooms when we're delivering, and we've been denied. Like, where are we? What are we doing? Where's the common sense in this? Where's the decency in? Though we're not even asking for a lot. We're just asking for common decency, for asking for a little honor and respect, for the integrity in the system and in the industry. I believe that we gave us so much that it's time to reclaim or claim what's right, what's decent. So it's not even asking for greed. It's not even asking for a lot of money. It's just common courtesy, uh, common decency, integrity back into the system. But from all angles, from all departments, not just from carriers and drivers, but from everybody in the supply chains. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's talk about the changes. Let's talk about the reform, because we all know that we need reform. And
Yep.
who else than just the people on the road? Who else than people on the docks? Nobody from FMCSA has been behind the steering wheel. It's just people in the office, people in law enforcement, people with groups. And to me, that is not the right
Law
place to.
degrees.
Yeah. So
Yep.
where's the representation from the carrier, from the driver? Many have given their lives uh, to the supply chain without proper representation. So to me, I think FMCSA should consider that. I think even brokers should consider that. I think insurance companies should consider that. Wouldn't it be better to have somebody that knows what it is to cry and to laugh behind a steering wheel for decades? Wouldn't that be a good representation of what a real carrier or driver looks like, instead of somebody having an image what a driver or a carrier should look like? Let's have some real representation in some of the structural reform moves.
Very well said. So,
Okay.
I guess there's guests aren't coming in, but that's okay.
That's okay. We continue doing what we do, and we had a good meeting earlier about just
Yep.
continue to move into the right direction. Just to make it clear from my side, I'm pro America. I support America's movement. I support uh, the English language. I support I support law enforcement. I support regulations. So I'm not a rebel. I'm just saying that let's all keep each other accountable. I believe that if whoever we are, if we're religious, not religious, if we're male, female, if we are young or we old, if we drive automatic, we drive standard. I believe that we need to support one another. I believe that we need to encourage one another, and I believe that we need to respect one another. But definitely, we
Yep.
need to agree on something, and that is to make things for everybody out there that is giving the family reunions, the birthdays, the anniversaries, the rest, that exercise, the eating healthy, the comfortable bed. I think that we need to work on what sets us uh, as a community in common good, or things that we do have in common. So let's look for the things that bring us together rather than the things that separate us. And if we can come into those places, I think we can actually make a difference together for common good.
After a quarter of a mile, keep right to take the exit onto Central Freeway East.
Yeah. You got anything else, Ignacio?
Keep right to take the exit
No, I'm good. I'm good. No, thank
half a
you.
mile
Uh,
to left onto
that's
Jacksboro
all I have for
Highway.
today.
Okay. Well, for anyone that did join, thanks for coming in. Anyone that's watched, go and watch the recording. Thanks for the support. Make some comments, ask questions. And pass the word around. We're trying to build the movement for reform,
After a
going
quarter of
for
a mile,
transparency,
left onto
accountability,
Jacksboro
and make change in the industry.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you for what
Now
you
keep
do.
left and then turn left onto Jacksboro
Well,
Highway.
thank you for being the co-host of this and for all the support you've
Now
given.
turn left.
But we'll end it right here. Everyone have a good night.
Thank you. You have a good night.